off. What is that?
What was that?
Is that Enya?
It was a video.
It was Enya. Who can say when the wind blows?
I don't see it live. Maybe your live casting
There we
privileges
go.
have been revoked.
Finally, it worked. Boom. And we're live.
Sure?
Oh, shoot.
Sure?
Let's do this. Yep. There we go. Shout out to Tom Walker.
Oh.
Shout out to Yosef K. I don't know what happened. It's frozen. Okay. No, there we go. It's working. It took like 60 seconds for us to actually go live. So I thought maybe there was a problem. I was starting to sweat. But everything's looking beautiful. Shout out to Adam Broussard. Give him the love tonight. Yeah. That's for you, Adam. Shout out to Blake Searles. Oh, Blake. I think Blake is new. I don't recognize that name. Lewis is over there clearing his throat. He's got a lot of stuff to say for this episode. He wants to make sure that it comes out without any phlegm noises. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Of course, very, very big show.
Phlegm noises.
Lewis, you're known for your epic phlegm noises. like the sound you make, the death squirtle you make before.
The what? Death squirtle?
You know that noise that people make right before they die? They go.
I believe that's called a death rattle.
Well, yours is going to be more like a squirtle because it's going to
squirtle?
sound real juicy.
That's great news.
It's just going to be one of the best noises. We got the phlegm. We got the nostril noises. That's what they're coming here. That's what Tom says. Shout out to Carlos Meja. He says, hey, y'all, from Texas. Oh, man, I wish I was in Texas. Finally able to get alerted to the stream. Oh, dude, have you not been able to watch the streams? Make sure you click the bell. Is this the phlegm noises episode? Says Greg M. That's a thing, Greg. Every episode is the phlegm noises episode. Yeah. We weave it into the show. Konoth says, I recognize the Mission Impossible reference, Blake. Okay, did I miss something? Well, I think we should get started because we've got an hour to get through all this, and I don't even think it's going to happen. Honestly, guys, we're going to do our best, but I've got low hopes for many reasons, in many ways, for this episode, so we're going to try our best. So let me queue up Mrs. You-Know-Who. Oh, my gosh, I heard an absolutely mind-boggling Mrs. Doubtfire impression this week. It was probably the best Mrs. Doubtfire impression I've ever heard. It put mine to shame, truly. Not that mine was very high quality to begin with, but I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later in this episode, I think. But let me go ahead and
give me the tweet.
What?
Give me the tweet.
Oh, you want the tweet? Give me the tweet. Yeah, you're like an addict. You can't handle it. You can't handle life without the tweet. There it is. Boom.
The tweet.
I need the tweet, man. I need the tweet. I need the tweet. Give me the tweet.
Yeah.
Give me the tweet.
Tweet.
Here we go. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! I just can't wait to get my hands on that M1x Mac. Oh, me either, Mrs. D. And that cute Leander Caney. Whoa. Better watch out, Leander.
Yeah.
Mrs. D's coming for you. She's in your area too, San Francisco. That's where she lives. You might see her on the public transit. All right, let's get this thing going. We'll get this thing rolling. Here we go. Hello and welcome to CultCast, the best 30+ minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Aaron Elijah. Join me today. He found Leander passed out on the floor of the Cult Mac World Headquarters Tuesday, muttering the word astonishing over and over. And he panicked because he knew Apple must have just announced something special. So he dropped Leander's head back on the floor. It was like a thud. And he ran to his computer to see what he had missed. He's the managing editor of Cult Mac. Lewis Wallace is here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you were worried about Leander too, of course.
Well.
Also with us.
I'm just thinking about the paperwork.
He sold 5 to 6 pints of blood in preparation of next week's Apple Unleashed event. He's been a little woozy this week, but it's nothing a few extra Stella Artois hasn't been able to fix. Hey, Gov. He's the founder of Cult Mac. Leander Caney is here.
Hello.
I think there's a 1-to-1 ratio. You can replace, for every pint of blood that you're missing, you can replace it with a pint of Stella Artois. And many people don't know this, but you can have that put directly into your body with like a one of those bags, you know. So instead of blood, they just put Stella Artois in it. That was a
That's not a bad idea.
Not as fast as the funnel.
that was a Leander Caney discovery. I can't take credit for that. That's something that he found out in his scientific experiments. All right, all we have a lot of stuff to talk about this week. And Lewis, while I'm vamping, I just realized that we're up for a Cult Max store promotion. So
Oh my.
prepare your chi, harness your chi for that, because I just realized I didn't tell you that. So you think about that for the next 30 seconds while I go through what we're going to be covering this week. We got so much stuff, of course. Oh, man, what an exciting episode. I dare say I think I've been waiting for this episode for 12 months, maybe 18 months. I mean, we've been talking about the M1x Max forever, and then out of the blue, boom, we finally got our event invitations. Well, I mean, we didn't get one. the royal, we all, as in all of us Apple fans, got the invitations to the Apple keynotes on wait a second, is it Monday? It's not this Monday, it's next Monday, right?
What?
Yeah.
It's this Monday.
Is it? No, it's not this Monday.
Is it
Yeah,
next
it's like
Monday?
4 days from now.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
totally confused.
No, wait a
You had
second.
me-
We should lock this down. Because
We're gonna be a week later.
somebody's knocking on my door.
Oh my God! Really?
Can you look up? Hold on, let me just
Is
pull it
is
up.
it this
I got
or
it
next?
right
Are we
here.
gonna have a this or next conversation?
I got it right here. Here we go. October 18th. It is. It's Monday. Oh, hold
What
on.
did you think?
Yeah.
You thought it was 10 days?
Hold on. My daughter has just walked into the room. Hold on one second.
Wow.
Yes. What can I do for you?
What's the name? Hey, sweetheart.
Hello?
This is Esther.
Can't hear it.
Hey, Esther.
Hi, Esther.
Mama told you can come in here? She left. Did she leave?
Oh, looks
Yeah.
like you're Mr. Mom.
You want to hang out in here while I do the show? Okay. Well,
Wow.
Perhaps she
Is that a
just
carrot?
took over.
I don't think it's going to be very fun for you, but if you want to hang out in here for a little bit, you can.
Where's the chicken?
The chickens are in the chicken living quarters. They're locked in to the chicken place. We forgot to open the door, and so they are just sitting there. They must be so bored in there. I mean, like, they just sit in there and just look at stuff. That's all they do all day. You know what I mean?
I don't know that chickens get bored.
I don't know. It seems pretty boring in there. Like, if you're just standing on stuff. So they have probably like a 9 by 8 foot living quarters, and they just stand around all day looking at stuff. So like, I'll go outside and they're just like looking at me, and they stand on their water container and poop on it. Like, that's like their main activity, and that's it, man. That's all they do all day.
What do you
sounds horrendously-
expect them to do?
That's what my wife said. I'm like, I don't know. Do something. It just seems so boring. Don't you think?
Well, I mean, what do you expect them to have a pickup football game or something? I mean, come on, they're chickens.
That would be actually pretty incredible if they did that. I would sell
probably
tickets to that. I'd be
It'd
so
probably have to be
wealthy.
soccer, wouldn't it? Since they don't have,
Well, their legs. They
arms.
do have powerful legs, though.
they could kick a ball for sure.
Yeah, they probably could, man. Their legs are super powerful. Like, they walk around all day, just like digging holes and pecking at stuff. That's all they do. And that's why you don't let them walk around your yard, because their legs are just like so powerful, and they'll just scratch up your whole yard and dig holes everywhere. And it's like holes all over the place. It looks like the crater or the
Peckers.
surface of the moon.
So they're not free range anymore?
Well, we let them free range a lot, but today they're not doing that.
Today they're
Yeah.
incarcerated.
They're incarcerated in their prison. I like how you guys see my daughter just. I honestly don't know what she's doing in here, and I don't have time to actually usher her out. So let's just keep going. So we're going to be talking about the new M1x Max and our expectations for the event. And there is a story that we put out on Cult Mac this week about the possibility of Apple releasing a competitor to the Switch gaming console. And we called the report that we were reporting on laughable. And it probably is laughable. Lewis was making fun of it a little earlier, but I don't think this is outside the realm of plausibility. I'm not saying that this rumor is right, but I also think that the idea of Apple creating a gaming console doesn't actually sound that crazy to me at this point. So we'll talk about that. And I've got some evidence here to show you guys to support my. I'm gonna,
evidence.
I'm going to tie it all together like I often do on this show. And-
Circumstantial, I'm sure.
No, well, yeah, maybe anecdotal. If you're looking for empirical, yeah, I've got nothing on that, as I rarely do. And then we're going to wrap up the show with an all-new What We're Into, which we haven't done in forever. I've actually got 2 picks this week. And this segment, we talk about things that are not necessarily tech-related, but are things that we may be into, like movies, shows, YouTube videos, you name it. It could be anything. So stay tuned for that. Lewis Wallace, do you want to tell us about the Cult of Mac store at store.cultofmac.com? Do we have any special deals for the good people here? Oh, this is a cool
Oh,
case.
that's what we're leading off with, huh? Yeah, I don't know if we've always got sales. Right now we've got 20% off stuff from Limited 77. You familiar with that company?
I have not heard of them, no. I'll be
They
honest.
sell
be honest.
iPhone cases. They got a NASA iPhone case in there. American flag wooden engraved
Ooh,
iPhone
Now you're
case.
talking my language.
All kinds of crazy looking iPhone cases. They also make like charging stands, chargers, et cetera, et cetera. But I think the thing that people need to know, aside from the URL, which of course is store.cultofmac.com.
You're getting really good at this.
Hey, what they need to know is that every time you look in there, there's new stuff. I mean, honestly, we're constantly adding new stuff, and of course, part of that's because new phones, right?
Yeah.
So got to have iPhone 13 cases, which we got a bunch of those in there now. But there's always people that we work with are always coming up with new bands that look cool. It's, if you want to, Apple Watch, if you want to make that thing look different, which I can't get enough Apple Watch bands. We've also got AirTag accessories, all kinds of stuff. It used to be just a watch store. It's not just a watch store anymore. Now it's basically everything Apple. We've got accessories.
It's like when Apple changed from Apple Computer to just Apple. You've made that similar transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's same impact, same cultural impact as well.
Yeah, right. Number 1 and number 2 in the space. Yeah. So the thing that I think I would like to emphasize is that if you haven't been there in a while, go check it out. You'll be astonished at how much stuff we have in there.
Astonished.
It's a great selection of stuff. It's all been vetted, and it's all quality stuff. And it's usually a good bit cheaper than what you would pay if you were to, for instance, walk into a store owned by a company based in Cupertino.
Yeah. Oh, well, their stuff would be outrageous. I bought some stuff at the company store. Oh my gosh. TC is not joking around about that store. So I bought a t-shirt. I believe it cost me $45 for that t-shirt plus tax.
Wow.
TC isn't playing games in there. I bought this pen here. Guess how much this pen cost me, Lewis?
$18.
You're close. $1,800, Lewis. $1,800. The refills, $500.
Was it made of platinum?
No, it's made by a company that sells
recycled platinum
pens on Amazon, but it does have an Apple logo screen printed onto it, so it takes the price from $25, which is what this pen costs, to $1,800. So
nice.
The store's not cheap. All right, store.cultofmac.com, store.cultofmac.com if you're looking for a case, something for your Apple Watch, your iPhone, you name it. We got all sorts of great accessories in here. Okay, let's just dive right in here, Lewis. Oh no, I'm sending this over to LK. The Apple Invite, Leander. The Apple Invite, it's out.
That's right, yeah. So they're inviting the world to this Unleashed event, and there's new M1x Max expected. So Apple on Tuesday sent out invites to its much anticipated October product launch event. The tagline is Unleashed. And the stream event almost certainly will bring the debut of redesigned MacBooks and perhaps an iMac running on an updated Apple processor. That's the one I'm hoping for. I'm really hoping for a new iMac. Cupertino could squeeze some other new products onto the agenda as well. The event is scheduled for October 18th at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Dude, so that's why we were confused. Normally they give you at least a week's notice. They sent out the notifications on Tuesday, I believe. And
so that's six days.
Yeah, they're not even giving us a week. I mean, it is virtual, so I guess no one has to travel.
Yeah.
But
and they
well,
they never hold events on a Tuesday either. I mean, I think like they've held like one, maybe two events on a Monday.
Yeah, it's been very few. There's a Google event I think scheduled for Tuesday, which may
Right,
be
that's-
why they're doing it,
Yeah.
to preempt Google and whatever garbage they're going to release. But
Excellent.
Wow.
I'm sure it will be decent garbage. That was harsh. It'll be decent garbage. So let's take a look at this invite just real quick. Apple Unleashed. You're going into light speed here. If this is any faster, this might be ludicrous mode. For those of you familiar with Spaceballs, we're almost there. And they say Unleashed, and I'm like, this is just so obvious what this is. It's you're look, those are all like electrons blasting past you, and they're taking us to the next level of Mac performance. That's what's happening here. The speed. Look, the speed increase. Look, you're going from regular speed into warp speed. That's what's happening here. And then also, Leander, to your point about the new iMacs, and we know that Apple is working on an iMac with a larger screen. We don't know if it's going to be like 30 inches or 32 inches, but Apple tweeted something in regards to the Apple Unleashed event, and they said this one's going to be big. And I was like,
Right.
oh, now that is interesting because they're very punny, right? They wouldn't just say that unless there was something happening. So I think that we're going to get clearly we're going to get the M1x MacBook Pros. I think we're also going to get the new iMacs, I think. What do you think about that logic, Lewis? Does that hold up?
Yeah, I mean, it's what everybody's expecting anyway, right? And yeah, if they're saying bigger things come, what is it? Bigger things? What's the exact wording on that thing?
I'm not sure.
Big things are coming. Bigger things are
Something
coming.
like that,
Come
yeah.
on now. What did it say? It said.
I looked for it, but honestly, I spent like
God,
15
it's
seconds
gone,
looking
it's
for
gone.
it. I couldn't find it.
How
So
come we can
gave
never
up.
find it?
Let's see here. Konos
Anyway.
says the invite looks like the Mac OS 10 intro video. Oh, does it? Where's that? Okay, bringing it up right now. What do you think about that, Leander? Not sure.
What? The Mac OS 10?
Yeah, welcome video. We
Well,
got Kona off the Mac historian here. Holy moly.
Yeah, I was going to say, for some reason that doesn't immediately come to mind.
Yeah, me either. But I'll take your word for it there, Kona.
Did you say you found it? What does it look like?
No, I didn't find it. I didn't even look.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry. I didn't even look. So let's talk about 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro. So clearly that's something that we've talked about a lot. And we've talked about the specs before, but let me just give you a refresher here. Just if you're excited, I'm excited, and I think it's worth mentioning at least what we're thinking is going to happen here. So I'm just reading from the Cult of Mac story here. Let me pull that up actually, since give you guys something to talk about. So yeah, there it is. Even if they didn't come with a faster processor, there'd still be plenty of anticipation for a new round of Mac OS notebooks, as they're supposedly getting significant redesigns. Lewis, are you editing this on the fly?
No comment.
I'm watching the
Take
words
the video.
literally
I'm
move
sorry,
around.
it drove me
Oh my
crazy.
gosh! That includes
sorry.
that includes
Hands
the
off.
return of a built-in SD card reader, which is not a Pro port in my opinion, an HDMI port, and there we have it listed as a MagSafe charger, but Apple has repurposed that for the phones now, so they're going to call it a magnetic charging port. And no LED touch bar. These would be the first iMacs with mini LED displays, the first Macs, with mini LED displays. Apple supposedly is planning two sizes, as we've talked about before, a 14 and a 16-inch. And according to some of the leaks, and we'll review those in just a sec, these will be pretty similar in price and specs. Like the only difference is at least as far as we've heard, going to be a difference in size. But the prices are going to be similar, and the specs are going to be similar. So no huge difference in specs between the two. At least that's what we've heard. But we'll wait and see what happens. I mean, with everything that happened with the Apple Watch, now I'm not sure what to think. But we got a tweet here by the Germinator. He made an interesting observation. The 16-inch MacBook Pro, which he says if you've lost track, still uses Intel and hasn't been updated in 2 years. That's crazy. That means that my MacBook Pro that I have, which I didn't realize was the most current model, is the most current model currently, is showing unavailable for pickup at many Apple stores plus shipment delays. So there's some smoke there, meaning that they're probably going to be selling out of all their stock for these. And let's see here. Well, let me pass it over to you, Lewis, to talk about a bigger iMac, because that's something that we are possibly expecting as well. Take it away, Lewis.
Yeah. So earlier this year, Apple replaced the 21-inch iMac with the super slim 24-inch version that everybody loves, and that of course is built around the M1 processor. So it's possible that that model will be upgraded with the M1X or whatever they end up calling the chip, the next gen Apple Silicon chip.
Yeah.
But the 27-inch iMac is one of the few products left in Apple's Mac lineup with an Intel chip. And so that's what everybody's really expecting to get, is a new, bigger iMac. We don't know how much bigger. It could be 30 inches, could be 32, it could be 33 inches. Who knows? But bigger is better, right, when it comes to an iMac. And it's probably going to look like the 24-inch iMac, same kind of design, same, magnetic power cable attachment, all that stuff. And this is one that Leander's all excited about, right?
Yeah.
Big, screaming.
Oh, me too.
Super fast, gorgeous iMac.
I kind of want them to just dump all the Macs on us at the same time, and I'm hoping that they do this. So let me ask you guys a question. Did they say they're going to be wrapping up the transition at the end of 2022 or in 2022? Do you know?
All I remember is TC saying it was going to be a 2-year transition.
Right. And when did that transition begin? Do you guys know? It was 2020,
well,
I believe.
When did they announce Apple Silicon? It was at WWDC, wasn't it?
I think it was 2020, right?
I believe it was 2020, summer of 2020.
So it'll be summer 2022. And there's no way they're going to dump us all this stuff on us, now.
Well, that's what I was wondering. I was like, could it be possible that they're going to just dump everything on us and be done with a final reveal with a Mac Pro sometime in 2022? Because here's the thing. They have the M1X ready, clearly. And why would they force you, or why would they make you wait for all the M1X variant Macs if they're all going to have the same performance? That just seems a little strange to me. It would make more sense that they would just release everything at one time and say, here's the M1X lineup, and then later on we get another Mac Pro announcement with whatever they're going to be stuffing in that machine. So what I'd love to see them do is just say, hey, here's everything, and then which one is most appropriate for you, because they're all going to have the same performance. Unlike in previous years, all these computers are going to have the same performance. They're just going to be different form factors, right? So you could do the Mac Mini Pro. Yeah, go ahead.
Is that true, though? Aren't they going to change the cores between the 14 and the 16-inch MacBook Pro?
I don't think so. I think they're going to be the same for each computer. And that's what has happened with the M1 chips. Like, all the computers that have the M1, they all have the same performance. Like, we were wondering, like, is the iMac going to be more powerful than the Mac Mini, more powerful than the MacBook Air? But they're all pretty similar. I mean, they have different cooling specifications. So I think the iMac might be slightly faster than the Mac Mini or something. I'd have to go look at the benchmarks again, but they're all pretty similar. So we've moved from a lineup where the different models have different performance specs to a lineup where they're all going to be pretty similar. So why make us wait for the M1X iMac? What's that, Lewis? Why are you chuckling at me over there?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it seems like they would just dump them all on us. Why not?
I just noticed too that my daughter got so bored of this conversation that she left.
I wonder how often she sits around and just listens to you talk to yourself. She's probably quite nervous about it.
I wouldn't say it's all that unusual, but she got so bored that she just actually went back into the house. So iCave Dave, shout out to iCave Dave. He says form factors shouldn't affect performance. I totally agree with you. I can see a 24-inch iMac M1X coming. Oh, shoot. Well, I would love to see that. If they released a 30-inch or a 32-inch M1X iMac, I would seriously consider going with that machine as well. I like having a MacBook Pro, but I would love to have the form factor with a larger screen and not have to worry about battery longevity. Like, one of the things that happened with my MacBook Pro is because I pretty much leave it plugged in for most of the time, and the capacity degraded hugely in the first year. It dropped like over 10%. I remember tweeting about this because I was so surprised, and a lot of people had come back and said, yeah, my battery performance has dropped in similar amounts. So it's not meant, the MacBook Pro is not meant to just be plugged in all the time. You can do it, but it will degrade your battery performance, because leaving your battery charged at full capacity all the time, it is not good for the battery. It will degrade how much capacity your battery has all the time, which is one of the reasons why Apple implemented that feature in your iPhone where if you are charging it overnight, it will charge it up to 80%, and then right before you wake up to start using it, it will charge it the last 20% because it wants to keep the battery at a fully charged state for as little time as possible, because that fully charged state actually it degrades the battery performance. So I would probably go with the iMac. That's the one that I'm seriously excited about. But I'm just excited that we're talking about this at all, because I can hardly believe that we're actually here. Oh, she's back. Hi. You want to come sit on my lap? Yeah? You want to be on the show? Do you want to say anything? Well, let's move this. Do you want to say anything to anyone? You want to say hi?
Hello, Angel.
She
Hello.
can't hear a thing.
No, hold on.
Oh, she can't hear, can she?
Hold on a sec.
Hey, sweetheart. Okay.
I'm scared to death.
What'd you say to her? What'd you say to my daughter? Did you see that? She immediately panicked and pulled them off her head.
Wow.
What'd you guys say to my daughter? All right. So this is my daughter, Esther. Everyone, she's how old are you? You don't know.
Well, that's like me. I couldn't tell you how old I am either.
Yeah, see him? He doesn't know either. All right. Well, let's carry on. This is a CultCast first. I'm gonna bring in some of my other children too. Maybe a couple chickens. We'll just have them all in here during the show. All right. Let's talk about Mac Mini. Lewis, I'm sending this back to you. This is another one that I'm super excited about, and I kind of have a feeling that if there's a Mac that's left out of the presentation, it might be this one. I hope that I'm wrong, but this is one that I'm super interested in just because the price point is going to be so low.
Yeah. So, as our article points out, if Apple does unveil a new chip, which of course they're gonna, it only makes sense to put it in the Mac Mini. The 2020 Mac Mini was one of the first 3 computers came out with the M1 chip. So here's why you might not get it, though. There's supposedly a redesign that could shrink the device even further. And however, the M1X or whatever Mac Mini reportedly will find room for double the number of Thunderbolt ports and come with a magnetic power cable attachment like the 24-inch iMac. So our sources on the internet, all of these rumors are pointing to a launch sometime before the end of 2021. So it seems like next week's event might be the time.
The other thing I was hoping for, and I think that we might see, is the updated power supply with the Ethernet port that they put into the new iMac, so you can get that Ethernet port right in the power supply. That's a super slick design, and I mean, for one thing, it would allow you to have a Ethernet connection directly into your Mac without having to have an adapter or something. Yep. So that would be super handy. And then you'd be able to get that cable off your desk and onto the ground below, which is way more convenient than having to route it up and have a dongle hanging or something. So that'd be super cool. Are you going? No, hold on. Don't get tangled in my cords. Are you going back in the house? You just want to stand there. Okay. You want to say bye? Wave bye? Okay, bye.
Bye, sweetheart. So when you say double the number of Thunderbolt ports, how many does it have right now?
2.
Oh, you're gonna make me look this up.
I believe it's 2.
I can't remember. I never had one.
And is this the Mac Mini Pro they're talking about? Because isn't the M1X a Pro chip? So
Mac Mini Pro.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned that, Leander, because that's the name that I've coined, the Mac Mini Pro. It's a Mac Mini, but with Pro specs.
It's
now,
Pro, right?
I would love to see Apple call it the Mac Mini Pro because my team of high-powered lawyers would be in contact for those royalties. But also because historically the Mac Mini has been nerfed in some way. So it's been exciting in some ways, but then they'll nerf it so that you can't use it to replace like an iMac. And this might be one of the first iterations of the Mac Mini that we see that is on par performance-wise with the iMac, with the MacBook Pro, because the system is on a chip, right? So it's going to have the same availability of GPU cores. It's going to have the same clock speeds. It's going to have the same CPU. I mean, everything is probably going to be very similar, if not exactly the same. which is exciting because that means that you could spend less money on a Mac Mini and not get some nerfed performance like in GPU, like with the previous Mac Minis. And so really you're just at this point, and look, this may not be the way it works out. This is just like the way it seems like things are going to work to me, looking at what happened with the M1, is you basically just choose your form factor. The performance is the same, but do you want a 16-inch laptop, a 14-inch laptop? Do you want an iMac with a big screen? Do you want a Mac Mini with no display? Like, you get to pick which form factor is most appropriate for you, but the performance is going to be the same across all the different devices. That's the way it seems like we're trending. She's back again.
So yeah, it is. It's 2 Thunderbolt USB 4 ports on the back of that. Okay, why do they put the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack on the back of the Mac Mini?
Well, where else are they going to put it?
I don't know where you'd get to it.
Right in the top. They should put it on the top in the center of the Apple logo, I think.
On the bottom.
On the bottom. You're gonna need a dongle though to reach it. You need like a flat cable dongle to like go in under. They have like a little
L shape.
They have a little trench carved out in the bottom. Sure.
It's weird. Why?
I'm gonna put my daughter's watch on just for a second. Hold on.
Wow, this is a oddly.
Can we just pause the show for a minute while I put my daughter's watch?
Personal show.
Now this is actually not her watch.
Is that an Apple Watch?
It's her sister's watch. Yeah, it's
Series 6.
Are you not familiar with the purple? What kind of animals are on here? What is that? A seagull? No. I don't know what bird that is. There's some kind of bird on there. You're not familiar with the purple bird Apple Watch edition? You're not familiar with that, Lewis? Well,
is that the Hermes?
The Hermes watch. Okay, let's see here. Last but not least, let's talk about AirPods. We were expecting those at the last keynote, and along with many other things we're missing. But Leander, looks like we may
AirPods 3 at last. Apparently, they're supposed to be rumored to be coming out on Monday. They're supposed to be ready to go, and they might be on the docket for the October 18th event as well. The third generation is supposed to be a mix of the AirPods 2 and the AirPods Pro, with shorter stems but no silicon tips. And no active noise cancellation, of course, either. So, alternatively, Apple could just announce its upgraded AirPods via a press release sometime, later this fall. But according to a Hbo leaker, oh my God, I almost misread that. So,
careful, we're live. Careful, we're live.
Pandals Bald claims AirPods 3 will also be available alongside Apple's newest notebooks. So there we go. We have it from some Hbo leaker.
Panda is bald.
Pandals.
Is it? Is that what it's supposed to be?
It does. It says Panda. It does.
Oh,
Panda's bald.
I read that as an L. I thought
Wait,
it was
Panda's balls. Panda's balls.
You can't say Panda's
According
balls
to
on the
Twitter
internet.
leaker, Panda balls. This is the state of CultCast now. This is where we get our information from. Twitter leaker Panda balls is.
Oh boy,
he's got a 76% on Apple track.
He's accurate though, right? So he accurately reported the release date of the new 9th generation iPad, but he didn't provide any other details about this AirPods upgrade. So take it with a pinch of salt. I'd be kind of cool to see him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see everything. I hope there's a hardware explosion. I hope that it's just one thing after another, and TC is just like, boom, 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 boom. I love to see him come out onto the stage with the Apple car, peel out a couple times, do some figure eights. I mean, I feel like this is the time, man. I mean, it's right before Christmas. It's right before the giving season begins. Like, this is when you got to start releasing stuff. And there's so much pent up demand for the Macs, especially. I remember seeing. I was going through that thread from Gurman when he was talking about this. Let me see if I have this up. For the MacBook Pro, which we talked about earlier, and how they were unavailable everywhere. And I think that he said, this may have been in a different tweet of his, that he has just not seen this much level of interest in an Apple product in a while. Like, people are super interested about the new Macs, which makes sense. I mean, we've been talking about these new Macs forever, and we just keep not getting them. And the Pros want something, man. Like, M1 was interesting, but it's not what we want. It's probably what we need, but it's definitely not what we want, right? We want the M1X. Like, we want that thing that has been rumored, that's been out there for a long time, with the all the crazy GPU cores packed in. I mean, The rumor is it's going to have either 16 or 32 GPU cores. That's a lot of cores. That is a lot of cores, and it's all going to be in sync with Apple software, so you'll get that performance increase just from it being an Apple piece of silicon, which will work seamlessly with the with the software that they're creating. It's going to be an absolutely insane powerhouse, especially seeing the benchmarks from the M1 that have been absolutely insane, and knowing that they're going to be fine-tuning that performance or fine-tuning those SoCs for performance is really exciting. Let's see here. I know we've been talking a lot about the MacBook Pros. Let's keep going there. We got a little bit more, and then I want to show you what some of the leakers have been saying about the upcoming MacBook Pro, which maybe reveals some new information for you. Let's talk about the MacBook Pros, storage, RAM, screen refresh rates, all that good stuff, Lewis. Right?
Go ahead.
No, that's me. Lewis, I'm going to talk about that stuff now. So
toss it to yourself.
Look, just hold your powder for a second, Lewis, and let me do some more talking here. All right, so here we go. M1x MacBook Pros might start at 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage. That's probably what's going to happen. That's pretty much the status quo. And then 120 hertz screen refresh rate. Now, I'm not so sure about that one, but let's go into the story here. So the 16-inch and 14-inch MacBook Pros will offer more storage and RAM than their most recent predecessor, according to a tipster. And an expert claims they'll have 120 hertz displays. Both notebooks will have mini LED screens, M1x processors, and will be likely unveiled on the 18th. Here we go into what Dylan DTK had to say. Now, he has, I think, a 75 or 76% score on Apple Track, but he's had some interesting tips that he's gotten right, like LiDAR exclusive to 2021 Pro iPhones. He was right about that. New iMac coming at April event will have M1. He was right about that. He said it would have multiple colors. He was right about that. So he doesn't have a long track record of a lot of rumors, but he's been right on some really interesting rumors that were hardware specific. Okay, so all that said, he says MacBook Pro 14 and 16 inch will have mini LED displays, smaller bezels with no bottom logo, 1080p webcams. I'm going to assume that these are going to be way much improved webcams, probably the same ones that are in the new iMacs. Base models will have 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. Base M1X is the same configuration for both models. There you go. That's interesting, right? No performance change. Pricing will be similar between the 14 and 16 inch, so don't expect to get a big discount on the 14 inch. It's probably going to be just like slightly cheaper because the screen's smaller, but you're going to get that same big old juicy price tag that we're used to on these 16 inch models. Okay. New charging brick. Well, that is interesting. So, and that goes back to what I was saying about the iMac charging brick. And I bet you it's going to be the same thing, except tweaked for a 14 or 16-inch MacBook Pro. That means it's going to have magnetic charging, I don't even know what you call it, adapter. They don't call it MagSafe anymore because that's for the iPhone, which means a return of MagSafe to the MacBook Pro. And then also, and I think this is really cool, I bet you it's going to have the Ethernet compatibility like the new iMac does. So you won't need that ridiculous dongle to get Ethernet for your MacBook Pro, which I currently use a dock to get Ethernet into my MacBook Pro, but it'd be really nice just to have it plugged into the actual charging brick. And maybe 120 hertz refresh on the screens. Numerous leaks point to Apple prepping. Oh, I already read that part. Ross Young, CEO of Display Supply Chain Consultants. Good old Ross Young from Display Supply Chain Consultants. We should look up his score. Took to Twitter to predict on Tuesday that the displays in both the 2021 MacBook Pro models will have a 120 hertz refresh rate, which is what they just added to the new iPhones as well. I'm a little lukewarm on that. I'm not so sure about 120 hertz refresh rates on the Mac. It makes a lot of sense on the iPhone. The iPhone is also OLED, and these are going to be LED. So I'm kind of like
mini LED.
Well, mini LED, but I'm sorry, LCD. That's what I meant to say. So it's still LCD with mini LED backlights, and I just wonder if they're going to be able to bring that high refresh rate technology to that screen since it's different than OLED. I don't know. Maybe they can, but I guess they did it for the iPad. That's actually so. Yeah, so they probably could do it, and they've done it before. So there's precedent for that. That'd be super cool. I just kind of feel like that's the first time we've heard about that, and the fact that we haven't heard that from any other leakers, and this is the first that we're hearing about it, makes me think, yeah, that sounds like a feature that you want. It doesn't sound like a feature that we're actually gonna get. Okay, so we covered the. There's a couple more things I want to show you guys. Right, here we go. From the Dylan DKT tweet string that he had. Okay, so here we go. Back to 120 hertz. He said it was being tested on a Mac prototype earlier this year, but I have no clue when it's coming, on what model, or no idea when it's coming or on what model it was being tested on. It is definitely in the works, not sure when. If he finds out more information, he'll let us know. Okay, so he knows that they're testing it. There will be no more touch bar. We will be getting HDMI, SD card slot, MagSafe on these MacBook Pros. Support for more than one display is coming as well. And then there was one other tweet I wanted to read you guys. Now here's
and
one.
The old keyboard too.
What's up?
No more butterfly keyboard, obviously, right? So it's back to the old keyboard.
Yeah. That's no more butterfly keyboard. That's a given, isn't it? I mean, so my wife's MacBook Air, she had this replaced before. Just happened again. Her space bar just stopped working, and she had the butterfly keyboard. Man, what a horrendous disaster that butterfly keyboard was. I know that they say that it didn't affect a large amount of people, but anecdotally, it seems like I know at least 5 people who had their keyboards replaced. And then they'd have it replaced again and again and again. I was just telling her, I was like, we need to get this thing fixed, and then we need to sell it, because the warranty's only 4 years. They extended the warranty 4 years, and then once your warranty's out, you're basically screwed. I mean, think about that. There's a whole generation of MacBook Pros that are basically going to be garbage once that extended warranty runs out, because replacing that keyboard, I think, is really expensive. And so there's a 4-year period which that butterfly keyboard was employed, and once Apple's extended warranty runs out, your computer is going to be done. When it breaks, and it might break again, it's basically just done. You're going to have to just throw it out. I mean, how crazy is that? Anyway, I digress. Luke Miani, he had 3 little tidbits that he wrote, or he included in a piece that he wrote for Apple Track. Now, I don't know what Luke Miani's track record is. I have no idea. But I thought that these were interesting tidbits, and he says they're leaks. So apparently he has a source that has fed him this information. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I do think that it's interesting. So he said new MacBook Pros will not have a 64 gigabyte option for RAM. Okay. And he also says the SD card reader will be UHS-2, a first for MacBooks. Now, I think that this point is kind of funny, because how long has SD card been gone from the MacBook Pro? 6 years? 7 years? Like, I'm not totally sure, but I don't even think UHS-2 was around when they got rid of the SD card slot on the
What
MacBook
is
Pro.
UHS-2?
It just is. It's a newer newer type of card,
something?
right? Yeah. So yeah, it might even stand for ultra high speed. I'm not sure what UHS actually stands for, but it's like what modern
as well.
the transfer rates of modern SD cards. And I think the previous slot was UHS-1, but that's because all the cards of the era were UHS-1. So it's like, it's kind of funny, right? At least I think it was. I'd have to go look. I might be wrong about that. And then here's the other interesting tidbit that I thought. He says, Touch ID sensor will be backlit with dedicated LEDs for unknown function. Oh my.
Ooh.
What could that be?
Now that I have no idea, but
Eye scan?
but that's something that you couldn't just guess on, right? Like these first 2, it's like you could make an educated guess, but this third one, that's out of left field. Like that's not something that we've heard before. That's not something that you would guess would be included in the MacBook Pro. So it will be really curious to see if he's actually right about that.
Party lights.
Yeah, that's great analysis, Lewis.
Yeah,
Party lights.
That's
Touch
what I'm here
ID
for.
Sensor, party lights. So there you go. That's it for the MacBook Pro. We stumbled our way through that. It's going to be really exciting. It's going to be Monday at 10 a.m.
Which one are you interested in? The 14 or the 16 or the iMac or
Oh man, it's really
the
hard
Mac,
to
the
say.
cheap Mac Mini?
It's going to depend on. Oh, wait a second, Lewis. Did you see this?
What?
Quinn Nelson came in and said RGB Touch ID. Nice. That was his reply to Luke Miani's tweet, and you just said the same thing.
Hey man, that's what it's going to be.
That's incredible. I'm leaning iMac. iMac Pro, if that's what they end up releasing. But the Mac Mini, if the price is right on that Mac Mini, that might be the way to go, because it's going to be, maybe $1,000, maybe $1,500 cheaper, and you get the same performance. Costco right now is selling
though.
Well, yeah, but Costco right now is selling one of those LG ultrafine displays for $500. It's a 32-inch, and I'm like, shoot, there you go. Mac Mini with M1X and that display would be a really nice combo, I think. But I have no idea. That's why I'm hoping they announce everything at the same time, because I really want to see
what your options
what my options are. Right, I don't want to buy a 16-inch MacBook Pro and then have them release the M1X iMac Pro, a month later, and it's like some insane, powerful machine with a beautiful, display that we've never seen before. So I don't know.
One last thing. Won't the iMac be faster than the iMac? Will definitely be faster, even if it has the same chips, because of the cooling, right? Isn't that what they did with the other one? They were able to crank it up because it has better cooling.
I don't think it was significantly faster. That's the surprising thing, and that's the exciting thing. And the peculiar thing about this new era of Mac is that previously they would put Intel desktop chips into the iMac, and they would put the mobile variants into the MacBook Pro, because it didn't get as hot, it was more efficient, but it wasn't as powerful, right? So there was a performance difference between the MacBook Pro and the iMac, but now Apple's using the same chip architecture for all the different computers. So again, I go back to the example of the M1, the 13-inch MacBook Pro, M1. You have the MacBook Air, M1. You have the Mac Mini, M1. And from the benchmarks that I've seen, the performance is really similar across the board. So to me, I think that the performance is going to be very close on the iMac and on the MacBook Pro. And to your point about cooling capacity, like, look at the iMac. It's as thin as a notebook computer. It's basically a tablet mounted to a stand. That's all it is. It's like a really large iPad mounted to a foot.
iPad on a stick.
Yeah, iPad on a stick. I heard that was bouncing around in the marketing meeting when they were trying to decide what to name it. And that was the one that TC was really excited about, and they ended up going a different direction. So there you go. Let's see here. God, I felt like this is just information fire hose here. I hope you guys are thirsty. Open wide.
Jeez.
Before we move on, let's talk about the Cult of Mac giveaway, shall we, Lewis? And I could use a break from talking here.
Jibber jabber.
From jibber jabbering. We got the Cult of Mac giveaway here. Take it away,
You want to
Lewis.
talk about this one, Leander, or you want me to do it? I can do it.
Yes,
I'll do it.
Somebody do it.
Yeah, so this week the giveaway is a bundle of 5 accessories for iPhone 13 from a company called Smartish. Smartish. Have you heard of Smartish?
I have not, but continue. My daughter's here asking me to open her snack. So one moment.
Oh, okay. All right. So if you got an iPhone 13, this week's giveaway is for you. Popular case maker Smartish is giving one lucky winner a bundle that will keep their new iPhone protected, organized, and charged. They make all kinds of cool cases. I actually had not heard of this company, I'm embarrassed to say. And I was looking at their stuff, and I really like it. They are, excuse me, they're based in Austin, Texas, and they seem to have, bit of a sarcastic edge to their marketing copy, which I'm always a big fan of. In this particular bundle, you get the Wallet Slayer Volume 1 card case.
Wallet Slayer Volume 1.
And I
can't wait for Volume 2.
It carries 3 cards plus cash for the 3 people that still carry cash. That's their marketing copy. That's sarcastic. I like it.
Well, okay, yeah, go ahead.
You also get a Grip Monk slim case.
Yeah.
So you don't drop it like it's hot.
It also means fewer toilet fails.
Right, and the Gripzilla.
Look at that.
I
That
like
is
these
one.
things, gravity
case,
doesn't
yeah.
stand a chance. Anyway, these
Yeah.
cases look good. They also, in this bundle, you get a Cable Wrangler magnetic cord organizer. That's like a little magnetic pillow that you can sit on your desk, and all your cords will stay there. You don't have to fumble around and find them down underneath your desk. And also a Crown Jewel fast charging cable. This is a cable with 3 tips on it. So you can, you get micro USB, you get Lightning, you get USB-C. So anyway, that's the thing. You go to the homepage, cultofmac.com, scroll down to where it says Cult of Mac giveaways. You'll see the link there for the Smartish iPhone 13 case bundle giveaway. All you got to do is sign up. I think you got to visit a Twitter page, sign up for our free newsletter, which you send out every day called, this name is a little on the nose, Cult of Mac Today. But that's all you got to do. Sign up, get entered in this contest, and one lucky winner gets all 5 things.
Nice. That's
Very
a lot
nice
of cases.
little bundle there.
Oh yeah. These are good too. They're not gaudy. They actually are very minimal in their design, which I appreciate. They didn't overdo it, because a lot of cases just look so bad that there's just way too much going on. So I like that these are kind of protective but minimalist. All right.
I like that purple color too.
Oh yeah. I figured you would. That's a beautiful purple. So I put a link in the chat if you guys want to sign up for a chance to win this, and you should try. Just give it a shot. That's all I'm saying. And I will put a link in the show notes so for our wonderful listeners can have a chance to enter. So look, we went on and on and on and on about the Unleashed event expectations. Way too long. I mean, I'm surprised there's still people here watching. So we're going to have to skip this story that I had lined up about Apple's laughable attempt, or the story that we called laughable that Apple might take on Nintendo with a hybrid console. Let me just do my spiel in 60 seconds or less. People laughed. I think this is plausible. Apple's got Apple Arcade. They're driving hard with Arcade. But not only that, they're making deals with publishers for big titles. So we have Apple Arcade goes big with NBA 2K. So they're making relationships with AAA publishers, right? And they're bringing this game to Apple Arcade. Also, Apple is making a major investment in building out their studios and I shouldn't say studios. Their home base in Culver City in Los Angeles. They're expanding big time. They're hiring like thousands of new employees because they want to be a major player in entertainment. And what's a huge part of entertainment? Video games. So their Apple TV Plus endeavor might be more popular than their Apple Arcade, but I think that Apple is interested in entertainment, and I could totally see them pushing to create a console because they're primed to do it. They already have an extremely powerful system on a chip that they could slap into a portable console with some controllers attached, like a Switch, and all of a sudden they have one of the most powerful consoles on the market, and it's portable. I think that is a play that might make sense for Apple. And I also present my final piece of evidence. We've come full circle, my friends. Some of you thought I stopped flapping. I never stopped. I'm still flapping. Tiny Wings Plus, one of the best iOS games known to man, is coming to the Apple Arcade this Friday. Tiny Wings Plus is what it's called. Just when
is
you
it really one of the best games? Have you played it?
I mean,
maybe
of it.
Tiny Wings?
No, I mean I've heard of Flappy Bird. It's just the same thing.
I think it's the same thing. Yeah. It's a new permutation. Tiny Wings Plus is coming, and I'm just happy because I know a lot of you have given up flapping, and that's fine. But I can't stop and won't stop. I'll be flapping until the iPhone stops. What?
What are they going to call this console? Pippin 2?
That actually would not be a bad idea. Yeah, it'll probably be called something much lamer, like the iGamer or something. Yeah, let's hope not. Or Apple Game Console. That's what it'll be called. Something really lame like that. Apple Game Console.
Arcade Machine.
Apple Arcade. Oh, there you go. Apple Arcade Pad.
Arcade Plus.
There you go. It's going to be something that is not going to be as good as it could have been. We know that.
I gotta go.
You gotta run out. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hold on.
Oh, that was abrupt.
Sorry. I'm just worried about now I'm going to be late to my appointment.
Can you take?
I got to park up.
Okay. Can you take 5 minutes before you go and just give us your pick, your what you're into pick, Leander, and then you can go.
All right. Okay.
Do you have time?
Well, I was going to say it was going to be Foundation, on Apple TV Plus.
Oh, really?
The Isaac Asimov.
Yeah.
But with some caveats.
Oh.
Because I thought the first 2 episodes, fantastic, totally into it. Third episode, not so much.
It's falling off.
Fourth episode, a bit better. The third episode it went like this. It was like this, and then the third episode it took a dive, and now the fourth episode it's sort of climbing back up again. I'm definitely going to stick with it. I was almost, I was a little bit, third episode, I was like, sort of, kind of losing interest.
Why?
Well, I didn't, because because of the characters. Well, I can't discuss it without giving spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers, please, because I am also very interested in it, and so I'm curious. It's interesting to hear your reaction to it, because I've been asking people what they think of it, because it's such a it's such a grand scale science fiction production, right? I mean,
Right.
it's like
There's
Dune.
there's not enough space porn. That's my biggest complaint
I
about
know
it.
you're really into that.
You
I
like
know.
tentacles and what
No,
are you talking
like
about?
aliens,
spaceships, and I want to see more. I want to see giant spaceships. I want to see planets. I want to see, hyperdrives. I want to see warp factor 9. I want to see all that space stuff. And there's not enough of that. That's my biggest complaint about it. There's not enough space stuff. The ideas are interesting. In fact, yesterday I was I had to stop and rewind one scene where they were discussing, they were just discussing something philosophical, and it's kind of, it's not, it's more intellectual than a lot of space shows, which I like. And it's got some interesting ideas. It's like I don't want to see just lightsaber battles and blasters and stuff like that. I want to have some ideas. That's what really I find interesting, and politics, of course, too. But
I can't get enough of that.
Well,
Space politics.
it is
That's what
interesting,
really
isn't it?
took the Star
Isn't
Wars
that what
franchise up to the top.
that's what but that's why Game of Thrones I thought was so great, because the medieval politics. It was about the maneuvering and the
art of
backstabbing.
war. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was war, though. It wasn't politics.
Okay, well, all right, whatever. The human relations stuff.
Subterfuge.
And the production values are just amazing. I mean, it really does look like it's real. So I got a few caveats, but I'm in. I'm still in.
So were the first 2 episodes like filled with action, and the third one was slower and brainier? And
I can't say why without spoiling it.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
There's
Yeah, don't spoil
way.
it.
all right then.
There's just no way. Yeah, but I'm hoping that some later episodes will return to what was in the first 2 episodes that I liked.
Okay, I'm interested. I actually might. I might spend once this show's fully out there. I might spend $5-10 and get Apple TV Plus for a couple months and actually watch it.
I just thought I can't explain what happened. The first 2 episodes were focused on a certain set of characters, and the third and fourth episodes have switched to a different set of characters. That's why I didn't find it as good.
Okay,
It's funny. Our reviewer thought the third episode was where it really got good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, but it's a super interesting show. Super interesting show. And I watched a bit of Mr. Corman too, the one that got cancelled.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
And I can sort of see why it is kind of a bit of a BUMMER. But I was scared.
The show is a bummer, or that it got canceled as a bummer?
Well, the show's a bummer because
okay.
he's all depressed and his things aren't going well. And
So the whole show is just totally
It's kinda like,
depressing.
oh my God,
Sad
it's kinda
sack
like my
on
life,
3.
So hits a little too close to home, actually.
It's a,
All right, I gotta run.
All right, thanks for that, Leander. Good luck.
Okay, guys.
All right,
Catch you
See
later.
ya.
catch you later.
Bye.
All right. All right. Leander had to peace out, but we can wrap up here, Lewis. We can wrap up here. So let me go next because I got a couple things that I want to pitch here, and one of them I just found out about yesterday, and I thought it was super interesting, and I watched it. Yeah. I actually saw it yesterday, and I was like, this is what. I don't want to be hyperbolic, but when I saw it, I got the chills, and I was like, this is one of the most incredible pieces of content that I've seen this year. Maybe in the last 5 years, okay? All right, so I piqued your interest. So I saw this chatter, this banter going around about this dude named Jamie Costa. And no idea who he is, no idea why people are talking about him. And then I started hearing banter about this video that kept being sent to like Robin Williams' daughter. Robin Williams, the actor, right? That kept being sent to his daughter about an impression that Jamie Costa had done. And she was like, I saw it. Please stop sending it to me. I don't want to watch it. Hits a little too close to home, right? And then I didn't really think anything else of it. And then I ran into a tweet where I was like, okay, this is the origination of where all this is coming from. There's this actor named Jamie Costa who released a it's like a short on his YouTube channel called Robin Test Footage Scene. And it's him portraying Robin Williams. I don't know if this story is like based on something that actually happened in Robin Williams' life, but it's like during the Mork and Mindy era, and he's having a conversation with either his girlfriend or his wife or something. And this dude's portrayal of Robin Williams is one of the most uncanny, realistic impersonations that I've seen. I mean, and what it really comes down to is his voice sounds exactly like Robin Williams. But more than that, he's able to contort his face in a way that copies Robin Williams' mannerisms almost one from one. It's like he moves his face in a way that is exactly the way that Robin Williams would move his face in really nuanced ways. And the only comparison I can make was when Jim Carrey did Andy... Man on the Moon actor, Andy Kaufman, thank you. It was like he transformed from himself into another character that used to exist. Like Jim Carrey is the only other guy who I've seen able to do this. And this guy, Jamie Costa, did it for Robin Williams, which and the performance was so outstanding that it reached like number 25 on YouTube trending yesterday and has gotten... Yeah. Just watch it. I can't play it here because I'll get dinged by YouTube, but it was truly remarkable. I mean, it's one of those things. A quote that I love to talk about sometimes was Steve Martin. Someone was asking him how to make it in Hollywood, and he said you have to be undeniably good, and that level of talent is so rare. Most people want to be good, but they're just not in some capacity. And then you see like a guy like this. And he's so extraordinarily talented that it's like when you see someone at a high school basketball or football game and they're playing at a professional level and everyone else is like high school athletes, right? And they're like just running around and you see that person and you're like, that person is on a whole, their aptitude is off the chart. Like they're on a whole different level than everybody else. That's what it's like watching this person perform, Jamie Costa. His aptitude for acting and impressions is just at a level that most people could never hope to reach. So go check it out. I'll put a, can I put a link in the chat here in case people want to check it out? I mean, later, not right now, obviously. And then I'll put a link in the show notes as well. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about was a series that I just finished on Disney Plus. It's called Loki. Did you watch it? Okay. Huh. Yeah. But their season 1 is over now, so you can go in there and watch it. Yeah. Oh man, so I actually didn't have very high expectations of this at all. I am not a huge Loki fan. I mean, he's a character in the Marvel Universe. I thought Tom Hiddleston in Avengers was great, but I didn't really care to learn any more about his timeline or his character. And plus, spoiler alert, skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear what I'm about to say. Okay, last chance, 30 seconds. He's dead. He died in Avengers. So how are you going to create a movie or a show series about Tom Hiddleston or Loki when he's dead? And man, the premise they came up with was so smart and clever. The writing was great. He plays opposite Owen Wilson, and their relationship was like a buddy cop relationship. It was amongst my favorite buddy cop duos that I've seen, and just a really smart show. The premise is engaging. It's unlike anything that I've seen. And I keep saying this. We really are living in a golden age of content because never before would you have a YouTube actor, a Hollywood movie actor start reprising the same role in television. That just doesn't happen because movies are a content that are at a higher elevation than television. And now you have these companies like Netflix, like Disney Plus, well, mostly like Disney, actually, who are having these characters have these major roles in movies, and then they take them into their own series, like in WandaVision or in Loki, and then they develop this whole other ecosystem of content, and then that goes back into the movie universe. So like they just feed off one another. It's really interesting, and the production value on this show is like mind blowing. Shows now are basically just episodic movies. That's all they are. They're the exact same medium now, except you get more of it. And so if you like movies that are long like I do, then the show is great because instead of watching a 2-hour movie, you get to watch a 9-hour movie. They split up over, episodes. But so the series from start to finish was great. There was one end scene that I was like, I don't know what they're going to do here because they're building up to this end scene where they're going to have to reveal some major plot points, and I'm like, I just don't know how they're going to do that without letting everyone down. And they actually pulled it off. I couldn't believe it. They actually pulled it off. Like the end scene in episode 6 was actually great and didn't ruin the entire previous 6 episodes. So really enjoyed it. That's Loki on Disney Plus. They are coming back with a season 2, but season 1 was just really great, and surprisingly so. Like WandaVision, which I thought is one of the best shows that I've seen. It was so surprisingly good. I had such low expectations and no interest in the characters in WandaVision. Just I was like, Wanda, I forget her last name, like Smirganov or something. And then Vision, I was like, they were characters in Avengers. That's cool, but I wasn't really interested in learning anything more about them. And then that series came out, and it was so smart and written in such an entertaining way and a creative way, like just nothing derivative about it and it was not like anything that I'd ever seen before, which was the same for Loki. The premises they came up with were like unique and original and unlike anything that I'd seen. So there's my pick. Lewis. Uh-oh. Yep. Uh-huh.
No.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just realized you were muted for some reason, Lewis.
Oh, I made such a great point.
Well, actually, for most of my spiel, Lewis was just going, So you didn't really.
Well, you're absolutely
really
right. Irfan.
Miss
You're
much
absolutely
until
right.
I came back to Lewis. So, Lewis, could you just
I couldn't
repeat?
agree more. I
could you
couldn't
just
agree more.
Repeat what you just said in the last 30 seconds, because that part was the part that was actually important.
What did I say? I think what I said was, yeah, it's great that they take those chances on TV shows, because the movies are the Marvel movies are kind of like a template and act a certain way. They tell a story in a very predictable way, or usually an origin story, and then and these shows are way more creative and they take way more risks. And it's great when you see a show like that and it's not what you expect it to be, right? It feels completely fresh and new. That's it's creativity.
And it is rare, except I feel like it keeps happening these days, especially in the last year, and specifically on Disney Plus, but also on HBO Max. I've seen some stuff that's really original, and it seems like writing has gotten better in the last year for some reason.
I mean, it started with like The Sopranos, right? Like you couldn't predict that. You couldn't predict Breaking Bad. I mean, shows like that are just like, wow. I mean, I remember my wife was way into Breaking Bad, and I'd never watched it. I'm like, what? It's a show about a school teacher with cancer who cooks meth? What? I was just like, come on. You got to be kidding me. And it's the guy from Malcolm in the Middle. What?
Right.
What? Turned out to, it's like awesome show. So, yeah.
People are asking me what I'm drinking here. I call it swamp water. It does look like urine, doesn't it?
Gee whiz.
I call it my swamp water. Have a little swig of my swamp water. So this is probiotic water. I actually make it. And
in your bladder.
Well, it's not my bladder. It's my my animals' bladders. I feed them, and then the probiotics come out. It looks horrendous. It looks like murky swamp water, doesn't it? It's like green. But it's just probiotic water. And honestly, it actually tastes like pretty much like water. It looks terrible, but it just kind of tastes like water. It's a little earthy tasting, but
ugh, jeez, man, you're making me feel ill just looking at it.
Somebody in the chat was asking. Okay. Let's see here. Javier Campon. I'm here late, but I still beat Leander. Oh man,
Ah,
he had to go. So close us out here, Lewis. What we're
Well,
into, final pick.
yeah. So I too have
Yep.
been watching a TV show,
Oh,
like everyone in America.
Uh-huh.
And so one I've been watching is called The Boys. Have you heard of this?
I have not. What?
The Boys.
Where are you watching it?
Amazon Prime Video.
Amazon Prime. Really? They've got something that's interesting, huh? Prime
Yeah,
Video.
it's been out for a couple of seasons, and once again, my wife was watching this way before me, and she was like, "Oh yeah, it's just a great show. It's about superheroes." I'm like, "What? God, and I was kind of just like, geez, another show about superheroes, blah 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 blah." I'm a little over the whole like Marvel, Disney movie. Everything's got to be a superhero movie, right?
Uh-huh.
But the show's different. It's a really satirical take on basically on our cultural obsession with superheroes. It's set in this world where these superheroes are superstars. There's a group called the Seven. It's basically the Avengers, but in the show they're carefully managed by this media and pharmaceutical company called Vought International, right? And so they make TV shows and movies about their adventures and stuff like that. And they're always like, oh, let's send the Deep, who's like a Aquaman clone. Let's send him here to do this. They like basically set up these scenarios, right? So they can be presented as world-saving superheroes, right? And the leader is this guy called Homelander, sort of Captain America, Superman hybrid. He wears a red, white, and blue costume with a like an American flag
I
cape
see him.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he has lasers for eyes, and he can fly. And he's like the most powerful one, but he's also a total homicidal dick. And the show is about this group of misfits, this like ex-CIA guy who he basically hates Homelander for some reason. They tell you why, but he gets this group of people. He's always getting the team back together. He's trying to take down these superheroes, right? Because they do a lot of really bad crap. Like they accidentally kill people and on purpose kill people. I mean, it's totally funny and brutal.
It's
and
totally
it's
funny. They kill
it's
people on
not safe for
purpose. It's
work,
totally
not safe
funny.
for kids. But it's like those other shows. It's filled with surprises and twists you wouldn't expect. It's edgy, and getting back to what you were saying about taking risks. I mean, this show is like it's got what I don't see on Apple TV Plus. To me, everything on Apple TV Plus seems solid, straight down the middle, not that creative, not that,
And definitely not edgy.
Yeah, it's just.
It's like they're not willing to take any chances.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know, man. I don't know what I've been struggling for 2 years now. We're coming up on 2 years of Apple TV Plus. I've been struggling to find what it is that makes it kind of uninspiring. It's like it's good, it's decent, but there's not like a single show that I just can't get enough of, except for maybe Tiny World.
Mm-hmm.
I still love that show. I can't get enough of little tiny
I like
animals.
that. I like that too. I really like that show. You can watch it with the kids. Now wait a second. I'm
Yeah.
on Apple's website, Apple TV Plus, and it says that you get 3 months free when you purchase an Apple device and redeem the offer within 90 days. I'm like, well, shoot. I bought a new iPhone. Do I get another 3 months free?
I don't know if you get another. I thought it was always new subscribers only, but
they
who
don't
knows?
say that.
I mean,
They say 3 months free. Apple TV Plus
They're
is included for 3 months when you purchase an Apple device. Oh
well,
wait,
they're pretty well
there's a
desperate
one next
to
to
get
it.
people to.
There's
Yeah,
a,
okay.
there's a one. There's
Follow
a
the
one.
footnote.
$4.99 a month after the free trial. One subscription per family sharing group. Offer good for 3 months. I don't know. One subscription per family sharing group. I've already had a trial though, so that must mean that I don't get it again, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
They want people watching these shows. I mean, they're dumping a whole bunch of money in it, and don't get me wrong. I mean, there are some shows on there that I like.
Yeah.
It's just that there's not. I haven't seen one that just like blows me away with like, oh, I would have never imagined that, right? I mean, what is it called? Killing Jacob. That one, was that what it was called? Defending Jacob. Excuse me. Defending Jacob. Good, solid, straight ahead sort of crime story. And it was compelling. I liked watching it, but I never once thought, wow, my mind's blown. I would have never envisioned this. It feels like you're watching something that's just straight down the middle. It's okay, it's quality, but it's just not. You don't feel like there's ever like this crazy person bouncing around the writers' room going, "Let's try this."
Yeah,
Although,
they don't take any big risks.
I mean, the only thing that I could have seen like that was that episode of Ted Lasso a few weeks back where I can't remember what it was called, Coach's Night Out or something like that. That was like a weird, completely out of left field episode. So they have done it at least once that I know of. That was not something I would have expected out of that show. But yeah, I don't know.
All right, Konoth is telling me to check my settings app because that's where the free trials show up. Yeah, nothing. I got Apple Care available and then Apple Arcade available. I'll subscribe to Apple Arcade once they release the iGamer Pro. I've been thinking about streaming services a lot. I recently got HBO Max because I changed my streaming plan, and they included HBO Max for free. So I was like, dude, this is great. So I've been watching HBO Max. I honestly think HBO Max might be the best streaming service out of all of them. And here's why. Netflix used to show content made by a variety of creators, and then they started creating their own content, and now it's migrated to Netflix content. When you subscribe to Netflix, that's primarily what you get is the content that they make. Well, they've only been making content for 10 years? Disney Plus is the same. Disney, you get Disney's content, and they have a huge backlog of stuff, which is cool. I love that they have that, but it's all Disney content that you've seen before, and the content that they're cranking out now, well, it's all new. But HBO Max, HBO has always been the website that makes contractual deals with all the different movie studios. So you'll see stuff from every studio on HBO at some point. And when I was looking through HBO Max, I was like, man, they have content from like the 30s on forward. And it's movies from just a huge variety of studios. And they're the only place that I know of that will show you a huge variety of content. So and they're also making their own stuff.
I mean, Netflix still does.
I don't think that Netflix
Amazon
shows.
still does.
Yeah, they do, but they don't have as much variety as HBO does. I don't think. At least that's the way it
HBO,
seems.
I mean, these things are always changing, right? But HBO, they cycle through things. I mean, they would always have movies for a month or 2 months or something.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like forever.
Yeah,
but
that happens on Netflix and that happens on Amazon too.
I really want to watch the Many Saints of Newark, that Sopranos prequel.
Haven't heard of it.
Really?
No.
It's a movie, I think, and it's like Tony Soprano as a young guy.
Huh.
And the actor James Gandolfini, his actual son, plays a young Tony Soprano in this show. Yeah,
that's always interesting when that happens. That's like I forget the actor's name. It's the guy with the really huge eyebrows. No,
Groucho Marx.
No, but he's close to that. Oh man,
Eugene Levy.
Yes, Eugene Levy. His son, I think his name's like Alex or Harvey Levy or something. That is probably not right, but he's starring in a show with his son, and his son looks just like him, and they both have the Levy eyebrows. And I'm like, this is just so weird that you guys clearly are related, and now you're in the same show together. I always find that interesting.
Yeah, Scheitz Creek.
Yeah, Scheitz Creek. That's right. Thank you for censoring yourself. Yeah, and the other thing I've been watching on HBO is oh my god, I just had it on my mind, and
wow, and it flew out of your head just like that.
Rick and Morty, because Buster was like, dude, you should check this out, you might like it, and I was like, I don't know, man, it's so hyped, and everyone's like, oh, Rick and Morty. So I started watching it, and it's interesting. It's pretty good. It's not nearly as good as all the fanboys would have you believe that it is, but it's one of the funniest. It's also one of the fartiest cartoons. One of the funniest cartoons that I've seen, and it's a super adult cartoon, right? And I think the thing that people love about it is it's just completely unhinged. The creativity in that show is completely off the charts. I mean, they basically just do. It's like South Park. They'll basically do and say anything. They don't care, and so you end up in these scenarios that are totally preposterous, but they're fun because you just never know where the show is going to go because it's so insane. It will go in all these bizarre directions, and take you on adventures with all these strange creatures and animals. And basically the premise of the show is there is this kid named, I think his name's Rick.
Rick?
Yeah. I'm not sure who's Rick and who's
Just
Morty
went out
because
of a limb here.
I just started watching it. They got a 50-50 chance. And his grandfather is named, no, actually, I think that Morty is the kid. God, I'm failing hard on this. I'm gonna get roasted on this so hard. In any case, he lives with his grandpa, and his grandpa is like some super genius scientist, and he's always busting into his life and saying, I need your help. And then he takes him on some totally insane adventure where he almost dies or has him morph into some other life form. And it's the kid is Morty. That's what I thought. The kid is Morty.
Rick is the
grandpa.
they say misanthropic alcoholic scientist.
Yeah. Yeah. And he always approaches Morty like it's gonna be something that he shouldn't complain about. He's like, I just need your help. And then he takes him on like some super dangerous science mission where he dies and like gets turned into like a cockroach or something. So you just never really know what's gonna happen on the show, which is what makes it entertaining. And dude, it's been around forever. I think it started in like 2011 or something, 2013. So
And
they
it's
have
still
like
as good as it was.
What's that?
It's still the latest ones are still as good as the early ones.
Well, I haven't watched the latest ones. I just started watching it, so I'm still in season 1.
I see.
I kind of doubt it. Are the latest ones ever as good as the original ones?
I don't know.
I mean, it's usually goes downhill. Okay, speaking of going downhill, we've been, and so has our viewership. So I think we should go ahead and turn the music on. Let's go ahead and wrap it up there. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. We got a real exciting week next week. Oh man, I'm excited. I'm just real excited for Monday to see what Apple.
Restrain yourself.
I'm gonna have to restrain myself and not completely lose it. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up there. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. If you want to come say hi to us, we're on Twitter. I'm at Airfon, ERFON. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. Leander is at LKney. This is the CultCast, the best 30+ minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening. We'll see you guys on Thursday, but I'll be on Twitter Monday. We'll be talking about everything announced on Twitter on Monday. We'll see you guys next time.
Wow.
See ya.
It was like a hearing test there. That thing went on for so long.
Did you hear it? Which ear did you hear it in? I was going back and forth. Raise your hand if you can hear that. This show, it just really went off the rails. Like, I feel like the train came off, we were on a bluff, and then we rolled all the way down the hill. There were explosions. Most of the crew and passengers died. And I looked up and I saw the tracks, and they were high up on a mountainside, and we were at the bottom.
Yeah. We can call it what we're into. Maybe we should call it what you're not into.
I'm going to take that into consideration for
the segment.
Next
the killer
episode.
segment.
All right. I'm hovering over the end button as we speak, Lewis. Here we go. That's it.